Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. And welcome back, everybody. Lots to talk about today, and very impactful if you have an animal, a pet, whatever it might be, doesn't matter, dog, cat, ferret. You can actually communicate with them using her help, or she can do it for you. I've learned so much in talking with her. She has been doing this for years. She started doing psychic readings on people and then became an animal communicator. And we've got her today. Going to learn a lot from Shirley Scott. Welcome back. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Steve. How are you doing?
I'm good. I don't even know where to begin today. I had a pet issue that I wanted to describe to you and ask your feedback. And it was actually this morning and also last night. I was thinking about you.
Okay.
Should we start there?
Yeah, let's start there.
So I have 2 cats and I have a dog. And I have him every other week. And he's great. Just the best dog ever. Except he chooses occasionally to look for presents in the cat's litter box. And I find them on the floor, sometimes on the couch. And came home last night and had a deep conversation with him, if you will. And then this morning I found remnants of the same and told him we can't do that. So I'm wondering what I should do, and also if I should telepathically, which I've done before with him in other situations and found it worked. So if that was you, what would you do?
I would definitely have a talk with him telepathically. And, kitty poo-poo is kind of a delicacy sometimes to dogs. Because cats sometimes don't digest their food well. So it's like, oh, this is good. But I would show him that it's going to make him sick telepathically, and also that it makes you upset. It makes you cry. Animals do not like to see us cry. They hate it. And so if you show him that it makes you upset, it makes you sad, and he's not to do it again, many times that will do it. That will do it. And he will at least think about it. What's his name?
Tanner.
Tanner. Hang on, because I'll get into his energy right now. Hi, Tanner. Oh, and he knows he's not supposed to do it. Oh, boy. Okay, can you see, Tanner? I'm showing him that it's making you really sad, Steve, that he is not to do this anymore. And that's what I would do. I would talk to him, show him that, and you could even take and point at the litter box and say, no, just, let him know that's what you mean. But, I think telepathically you can make him stop. He already knows what he's doing. I'm going to tell you that. I mean, he already knows that this is a no-no. He already knows that it makes you a little upset, but it's like, this is a huge temptation for him.
I did have that conversation, and I even picked him up and brought him to the litter box and pointed and told him no.
Keep it up, because sometimes they have to be reminded, because like I say, cat poo-poo sometimes is a delicacy for dogs. It is.
It's actually funny to hear you say that.
But the problem is, once they start, it's hard to stop.
Okay. And it's interesting that it comes and goes. Like, he doesn't do it on a regular basis. It just, might be a random day I come home, and even though I scoop, the box, you can't get everything at every time. So it's kind of random. Then weeks will go by. No issues whatsoever.
And it all depends upon how your cats have digested their food and whether it smells good or not. And sometimes, and vets will tell you sometimes that maybe the dog is missing a mineral in his diet or something. That's a lot of times when animals are missing trace minerals, they'll eat dirt and stuff.
Yeah.
And so, but usually it's how the cat has digested its food. So if your cat is maybe having an off day or something, then it's going to smell more like cat food than it is like cat poo.
Got it. Okay, so then that reasonably makes sense why it comes and goes. So it might be just that, the cats are different that day in terms of what they eat, how they eat, and all of that, and then he's picking up on it. I do know, like most dogs, that his sense of smell, I mean, he'll be outside, all of a sudden, he picks up on something. He's got to go in that direction, when I'm taking him for a walk. So he could be laying on the couch and is, aware of what they're eating and how it's being digested.
Absolutely. Dogs, I think, can smell 300 times better than us. Wow. And a male dog that is not neutered, I mean, if they're neutered, they can still smell this, but they don't take off. But a male dog that's not neutered can smell a female dog in heat almost 2 miles away without wind.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, That's how good their smell is. And so, they're in the house with you. They're going to smell everything in that. They can smell your feet. They can smell your armpits. They can smell what the cats are doing. And dogs have a tendency to put everything in compartments in their brain. Like if they walk in and you're fixing a bacon cheeseburger, they can smell everything. They can smell the bacon, the hamburger, the cheese, the onion, the lettuce, the tomato, everything that's on that, and it each goes in a compartment of its own, and they will identify each component of that bacon cheeseburger. That's why drug dogs, when they smell, people go, I'll wrap my drugs in tar or something, and the dog smells it. Well, it smells so good, he goes, oh, tar and drugs, because he can smell it. You really cannot mask a dog's smell. Unless he's just been in a skunk, then it takes a few hours. But they take every smell and it goes into a different compartment in their brain, and they remember those smells.
Wow. I want to ask, I don't think I've ever brought this up, that you have an amazing knowledge base of animals. You're not just somebody that can connect and communicate. You've also got a good understanding of what makes them tick. Where does that come from?
From them. I have studied some things, and of course I've learned a lot in 25 years. But many times the animals will tell me things that I would never have thought of on my own. I mean, it's like, really? And then if I go look it up, it's true. So I've really learned a lot from animals. And then, then I have studied. I mean, like sheep, every sheep I've ever talked to has been highly intelligent. We think sheep are stupid. They are followers, but they're not stupid. They can remember 50 people's faces for 5 years.
My mouth just dropped. I'm trying to process that. And meanwhile, I'll go to some event, meet somebody, and I can't even remember the name 2 minutes later.
Exactly. Yeah. Animals, we have to give them more credit than what we give them. I mean, most dogs can learn as much as a 5-year-old child. And they do it in a little different way. I mean, first of all, repetition. How do you train a dog? Repetition. So, when you say sit and you kind of, make sure their butt goes down, they're going to learn, sit. But if you hold a sign up that has letters on it, in big letters that says sit, and you say sit every time and you hold that up, pretty soon you can hold that up and they'll sit. And if you do the same with stay, they'll do the same thing. And they will not necessarily read it, but they will count the letters and they look at the configuration. And they can learn sort of to read with like 2, 3, and 4 letters. A lot of them can't go beyond 4 letters, but some of them can. But they can learn as much as a 5-year-old child.
Wow. Well, to your point, in dog training, a lot of times there's a hand signal that goes along with it. Like, for example, if you want them to either sit or lay down, can't remember specifically, you take your hand, make a fist, and so that your palm is facing you, and just hold that up. And that's, for many, that's the signal when taught to a dog to lay down or sit. So it's same thing as holding up a sign.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. When I was training dogs in the federal prison in Walla Walla and teaching the inmates, we did with hand signals, because a lot of times, when they're in the cell block and stuff, they can't be talking or they can't be, really yelling or anything. And so we had to teach the dogs, this meant sit. And everybody in the program use the same symbol for sit, the same hand signal, and stay, and lay down, and all of those hand signals were used. And then when people adopted those dogs after their training, we trained the people on the outside world what those hand signals were, so that dog, when it went to their home, was familiar with that. And that really makes the animal feel less stressful, because they don't have to learn a whole bunch of hand signals again, but it makes them know what the human really wants them to do.
Tell me about your beginning with the psychic side of you. Now, I mentioned that as we got started today, but you went down the animal route. What changed?
I think animals are, they're much easier to talk to deal with. They tell you the truth. And I guess because of my connection with animals when I was a kid, like I say, poor mom, she never knew what I was going to bring home and say, can I keep it, or can I heal it or something. But I found that animals were so much more open, and they taught me a lot about how they felt about the human kingdom, And I just feel that if we can connect better with the animals, this world would be a lot better place, and we could actually connect better with each other, too. But animals have this love and this connection to nature that is beyond none.
Do they really love it? You said nature. You said love and
they love nature. They understand nature. They understand nature that is survival. But if you watch animals, there's a lot of them that even in the wild will adopt another species. They'll adopt another baby if they come along with a baby. It's not all kill and be killed. A lot of it is, and they enjoy the outside and the, you can see them just when they sniff the air, or when they're, playing with a leaf, or they love nature. They love it. They don't necessarily understand it like we do, but they know it in a different way. Like when the barometer drops, they're like, uh-oh, something's up.
Yep.
We'd go, oh, we're getting a storm. They go, okay, something's up, and I can smell rain, And so they will react to it. They know it in a way that's different than ours, because they don't know a name for it unless we teach them. We can teach them rain or that type of thing. Like I say, my goat, if it's going to rain in 20 minutes, he's in his house, and you can set your clock by it. He looks up at the sky, and his nose goes up, and he goes, and he goes. And I go, okay, everybody in, it's going to rain. So they love being out there, especially when they feel safe.
So I think about this when I take my dog for a walk. Yeah, part of me is like, he's happy because he's getting out, and I recently moved, so I'm not in a position to just open the door and let him run, where I used to be able to. So I look at it as, well, he's happy, he's out, and he's excited. Let me smell that, let me over here, let me check this out. Very well behaved, in that regard. But I'm getting from you, there's way more to it than just being outside. He has an appreciation and love of nature, and I never even thought of it that way. Yeah,
yeah, they do. And you have to remember that animals can see energies a lot more than we can. I have this great ability to see lights around trees, and when a bird flies by me, it usually is in a rainbow. It's an around rainbow. But animals can see that too, and they know a lot of times where there are ghosts, as we call them, or disembodied spirits, because they can see them or they can smell them. A cadaver dog can smell where a dead body was a lot of times for years. Years. And so they have this appreciation of the senses out there of Mother Nature and what is going on around them a lot more than we do.
Wow. Do you blow yourself away when you get validation from somebody that you're working with and communicating with their animal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do.
What I mean is, it doesn't get old.
No, it never gets old. It never gets old. just the other day, somebody emailed me and said, tell me what's wrong with my dog's leg. She's limping, but she doesn't seem to be in any pain. The vet can't tell me what's wrong. They can't find anything wrong. And I looked into the dog, and she said, once in a while I get this pain from my shoulder, but my leg goes numb a lot. It's numb. And that's why I limp, because I can't feel it very well. So, I emailed and this was all done by email, I emailed the client back and said there's a pinched nerve in the dog's shoulder, in the right shoulder, front shoulder. And she went, oh, well, that makes sense. Well, she went to, and I told her to go to probably an acupuncturist for animals. And she's going to do that, and she rubbed it and everything, and the dog seemed to like it better when she rubbed it, and there was no pain, but it was a little like a pinched nerve, and it hurt once in a while. So, things like that, animals, they don't know what's going on with them, but we can definitely get a little bit of a diagnosis there, and that blows me away when I do that, because she didn't even tell me what paw it was, what leg it was.
Mm. Yeah, I had a conversation with somebody today about our talents, what your purpose is in life, or your talent, what you were meant to be. And I never thought of this until they brought it up, but when you're truly doing what you were meant to do, you can't screw it up. It's like the universe you're meant to do this, and you're going to do it. And you can't, like many of us have fear, I don't know if I could do that. I love to, let's say you cut hair, but you're, that really, that's your purpose, but you have fear of maybe messing up something. When you get to that point where you realize this is what I'm destined to do, I'm not going to mess it up because this is what I do. That's what I was meant to do. It sounds like for you that you're in that place where you've realized that this is what I was meant to do. I'm going to deliver the information, and I'm not going to worry about it because it's more times than not, it's on target. Do you kind of feel that way? Do you ever second guess? Yeah,
I do. Once in a while, sometimes I'll go, but I get validated. I do. And when I was learning this and doing it, one of my teachers said to me, it's not about being right or wrong, it's about delivering the message.
Right.
And I have tried to live by that. And it is, once you deliver the message and you don't doubt, the big thing about animal communication or even psychic ability is you can't doubt it. It's like, it's done. It's there. That's what, even when you say something that seems so stupid. I mean, there are times that things have come out of my mouth like I'll say to somebody, well, I don't know why I'm saying this, but remember the green beans or something. And they'll go, oh, my God, I know what that means. And off they go on a story. And, I'm going like, that was the stupidest thing to say, But when you get those messages, you have to have trust that is the message you're getting. That's why I say when you're in animal communication, you got to get out of your humanness. You just got to get out of the way. Because once you start analyzing it or thinking about it, you're going to screw it up.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of where I was going. And it's, you were given that piece of information for you, meaning you as the animal communicator. You were given that piece of information for a reason. Where did it come from? I don't know. Maybe you don't know. The universe.
Yeah. It came from the universe and my spirit guides. I've got a great spirit guide that beats me about the head and shoulders a lot of times if I don't listen to him. But, it just comes. And anymore, people say, where do you get that information? It just is so natural anymore because that's the world I live in every day. I don't live in a world of going into an office and having to do work in an office and leave the real world, I call it, behind. I live in the country, in the forest. I live, with my animals. I talk to my animals like they're my kids, and they understand it. And so that's where I live every day. So to me, it's just natural to hear words or see pictures or, see things around me that other people don't see. That's really my world. And I'm very grateful for it. Sometimes it scares me a little bit still, but, when something pops up in front of me, I'm not ready for it. But I always know that I can deal with it in a very spiritual or psychic way, and I have protection around me. So, yeah.
Well, I never processed the fact that you are around animals, and that's what you do. so I go back to that question, like, how do you know, what the animal's thinking and their, the personalities, and like even with the cat poop, why it's a delicacy for dogs. And then, there's no way you Google that, you figure through trial and error and experience, with your own animals, that's what's going on there.
Yep. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and dogs have told me this is why I do this, and you're like, well, but that's not, it's not kosher, really, but it makes your human sad, and they have to know why I can't do that, because in their world it's perfectly normal.
Yeah,
that's normal to them, and so we have to explain to them that it is not in our world normal to do that, and it makes us very sad, and sadness for animals, they hate it when we're sad, because they don't like to be sad. They like to be happy. Animals like to be happy and loved and feel safe, and animals don't like to be sad, even when they're going into a depression. I had a client this morning that one of her dogs passed away about 8 weeks ago, and the other one is still moping around. I mean, he's in a depression. And we have to talk to them, and then I can talk to the other side and ask, his brother that passed away to come back to him in spirit or come back in a dream, so that he can understand kind of where he is.
Aw, it's so sad to know that an animal is so connected and is going through that and realizes that, their buddy's gone.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. Animals have the same emotions we do and the same abilities that we do. They just express them in a different way a lot of times. They express them how they are taught in their world by their DNA and their mom or their dad, how to express that in their world. When they go into a depression, they won't eat. They're not hungry. Sometimes they won't drink, and they just kind of lay around. And a lot of times, if I can get them to understand that the other dog or cat is cross, they're not dead, and for them to see them in their sleep. That's why a lot of times it's good that if an animal dies, to have the other animals at least smell the body, because they smell the death, and then they go, oh, okay.
Your final question on all of this, do they know that, let's say it's an animal close to them in the same home, do they always know that the animal passed, or with what you're saying now, to prove it to them or to reaffirm that there's a reason, that they're not here anymore?
They always know they passed. They always know. Death is a smell that they know and they recognize, and so they do know when an animal is gone. And even if they're not around the body when you take the animal out, or they don't get to see their friend in the dead, they know death, and they'll go around the house and they'll smell, and they'll go, okay, they're not here. And a lot of times that animal is sitting there in spirit, and they'll see him. But they do know death. They always know when it's past, because I really think that the energy of that soul is gone. The energy is not in the house like it used to be. It's there in a different form.
So I'm going to ask you one final question, and this is also based on your psychic ability, but when someone passes away, whether it's a human or an animal, do you believe that their energy is always around us? Even though they're not here, their energy is still here.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I do too. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And what's really cool is, what I learned from my near-death experience and watching the paramedics work on me when I was dying, is that I could hear every word the paramedics were saying, even though, I was out of my body. And I knew what they were doing. So I know when you're on the other side, those beings on the other side can hear us talk to them. And when we talk to them, whether it's mentally or with our voice, the energy connects to them in quicker than the speed of light. And no matter where they are, they can come to us quickly.
Wow. I'm a firm believer in that. And, I've always believed that, when psychics connect, legit ones, it's happening. They're making a connection, but I never made the connection of how they're doing it. But it's my belief that because when somebody's gone, they're still here. Their energy is still here, and that's what's being tapped into.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah. They're only a dimension or two away. I mean, and it's funny because people go, well, I want to go into the fifth dimension. Well, you can't with your third dimensional body. You can in meditation. You can leave your body anytime you want to. But they're just in this fourth, fifth, sixth dimension, and we can meet them in dreams in those dimensions because when we sleep, our soul actually leaves our body, and we can travel and actually meet them soul to soul on that astral plane.
We just opened up the door to another podcast.
Yes, we did.
While we're talking, the fifth dimension and, getting there or the fourth, depending on where you think you might be. And what you just said, and I believe we're out of time. Yes, we are.
Okay.
The fact that when you sleep or go to sleep, you're out of your body. Did I hear that right?
Yeah.
We're going to press the pause button and get back to that. I'm intrigued. Okay. I really am.
We could do that next week.
Interesting. Shirley, if somebody wants some more clarity on this, if they want to connect with an animal, what's the best way to reach you?
Just go to my website at shirley-scott.com, and there's a contact page. Fill out your name and phone number and a brief message, and your email. I will get back to you usually the same day or within 36 hours anyway, and we can set a schedule up. So it's just shirley-scott.com.
Always amazing talking with you. Exceptionally amazing today.
Thank you.
And I will update you on the poop situation next time we get together.
Okay, and I'll talk to Tanner too.
I appreciate that.
Okay.
All right, we'll catch up soon. Thanks so much.
You bet. Bye-bye.
Have you ever wondered what your pet is thinking? Have you ever wanted to tell them something? Do you want to know what is going on in their world? Shirley Scott can help you talk to your animals. As an animal communicator with over 20 years of experience, she knows the questions to ask. She gets the answer right from the animal without letting her human emotions or judgments get in the way. Shirley can help you understand what your pet is trying to tell you. She can help with behavior issues, health problems, and other communication that might help the pet's human understand them better. Her books range from how to deal with ghosts and demons, how to talk to disembodied spirits, a workbook on how to become more positive so you can live a better life, a new children's book written from her goat's point of view, and even an animal communication CD. All of these and more are available on her website. Find out more about Shirley by going to her website at shirley-scott.com. or email her at scott@shirley-scott.com. You'll find that Shirley is friendly, honest, and comes from a positive point of view. Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her.
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge.
Got to get this all straightened out. Give a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve. It's now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend.
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.